Hey, and good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather News YouTube channel with the weather report here on your December the 19th, 2025. Now, something was going on with YouTube. I couldn't get in to put up the scheduler and do the live. I kept trying, and then finally it cleared up whatever technical glitch they had. I couldn't go live, but here I am doing it live right now. For those who watch them normally here on live, I might consider going back to doing these as not live, but to go back to doing them as recordings again, because they're really dropping off. I mean, I'm only getting maybe 50 views a day now. These things are really kind of dying off. So I got to think of another approach, to try to do it a little bit differently. But for today, we're just going to kind of give you your update here for the weekend and get you started. Again, we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about the warmth that's coming at us. We got really a battle of extremes. This is kind of the teaser for the slide here. We got the warm weather that's going to come in here for Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Then we got the nice cold shot here, at least in the east. Looks like it's going to come down here going in toward New Year's Eve. So we got some kind of, it looks like a bit of a pattern that's going to be a little bit in flux. Now, before we get into this full report, if you are new here to the channel, please, personal invitation, please consider subscribing to the channel. And make sure you hit that notification bell, because YouTube won't let you know I post anything unless you do that. So please do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this right now. Our highs and lows from yesterday: 91. That was our warm spot yesterday there, and that was I took my glasses off here. La Puerta, Texas, down there in South Texas, and -8 up there in Rolla and Crosby, North Dakota. Those were our extremes, almost 100 degrees there across the nation. Let's look at our surface map, and boy, talk about a wet and rainy commute up here into New England and New York. They get some pretty heavy rains there. We had a pretty healthy squall line come across the southeast, boy, about 120 this morning, just 50-mile-per-hour winds, rain just coming down. It lasted all about 5 minutes, and it was done. But man, it was pretty crazy there. I got some cold air coming down here across the south here. That's going to make things a little bit chilly for today, but a quick warm-up on the backside of this. We're still looking at some very active weather here on the West Coast, especially out here in California going in toward the 23rd and 24th. We're really going to have a nice little atmospheric river. I'm sure that's a term you've heard thrown around a lot in media circles. We're going to see that once again. Heavy snows expected out in the west. And then we're going to watch this big, huge heat dome develop going into next week. All right, now let's go look at our current watches and warnings. At least the wind energy is starting to settle down a little bit. All that wind energy that was out in the plains now affecting areas up here into the northeast. Seeing all those wind advisories out there, even some high wind advisories out there across portions of Pennsylvania. Still got some wind energy out here in the west as well. Some flash flood problems here up toward Oregon and Washington and Northern California. And that got, of course, that's a red flag warnings there in that kind of pinkish color there, that bright pink color. All right, so looking at our thunderstorm threat here for today, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather up here into areas of New England. So we're talking about New Jersey, getting down toward Virginia, North Carolina. This is part of that same storm system that kind of plowed through the Midwest yesterday. Had severe weather in Missouri and into Alabama and Tennessee, just all over the place. There's also some thunderstorms out here on the West Coast too, out here in Washington State and into Portland. Could see some thunderstorms there as well. And that's about it as far as the thunderstorm outlook. Here's your day 2, nothing. Day 3, also showing nothing. So it looks like today is the only day we have to worry about thunderstorms here across the country. Now, like I said, New York State or New York City, boy, they're getting hammered pretty good right now here this morning. I am sure they're probably seeing numerous airport delays there across JFK and LaGuardia with some of this heavy rain moving through here. That usually impacts them a little bit whenever you get this kind of rain moving on through there. But it's moving up to the north. All rain, no winter weather with that right now. And things looking pretty good once this goes on by. Should be improving weather there later today. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the 3-kilometer nail. That's our intermediate model here as we're looking at conditions here, taking you into the weekend as this thing kind of resets here. So again, we're watching one storm system here in the east. This one's exiting. Here's the other one kind of coming into the plains. Got some in the intermountain and the high plains. So we got some snows up there. So we're going to see some snows across New England as that cold air kind of moves on in here for later tonight. And then we got that next little system there going over the Great Lakes. So week 1, see some snows there across areas of Wisconsin and into Michigan. And that pulls off to the east. And then here comes that atmospheric river. Here's the start of it coming into California there. You kind of see it there going into your Saturday afternoon. and that'll just continue to move on in there. That's the first system, and then you got the other one coming in right behind it. So we got a couple of it there coming out there on the West Coast. So a lot of the country is going to be pretty quiet. Now, once this cold air evacuates here out of the Midwest and out of the Northeast, we're going to have a huge high-pressure dome that's going to sit up there in the middle of the country. You're going to see that here in just a second. Now, as far as our rainfall totals are concerned, I'll get this turned back on here. Again, heavy rains here on the West Coast. Again, this takes us out till Sunday at 1 o'clock. All right, so West Coast, obviously here across New England, but a lot of the country pretty dry here. And as far as the snowfall totals, as far as that's also taking us out to 1 o'clock on your Sunday. You're seeing the grains. That's where our feet of snow are measured. Not bad across New England. Get a little bit of lake effect going on there and across the Great Lakes, but that's about it, taking you in through your Sunday. All right, temperature-wise, got this looping on by. We got that cold air that's staying to the north. We're going to stay fairly seasonal, cool air across the eastern third, I would say here, at least through the weekend. But then after that, all bets are off once we get this big heat dome that's going to build up in the middle of the country. And we're not going to see you see where the blue is now, that's your below 32-degree temperatures. You're not going to see much of that at all by the time we get to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'm going to show you that here in just 1 minute. You're going to notice big changes there. Now, as far as what we're seeing here with the overall weather pattern, I will say we're probably we're kind of heading toward a pattern of transition, okay? All right, so we've got this one, they've got the one quick hit coming out here, all right? And here's our heat dome. We've been talking about this for days, so we know this has been coming. This is going into Christmas Eve. You got this big heat dome here. So we got a big storm system off the West Coast, big ridge here. And this is going to be short-lived. It's not going to stay very long. It's going to break down. As it does so, we're going to bring some cold air back down. Here goes, boom, going into the 28th and 29th. The Europeans have been pretty consistent on this, okay? So what I suspect is going to happen here, folks, when I show you the climate outlook, that if this continues to be there on the afternoon run, we might see some subtle changes on the climate outlook taking us to the end of the year. I think that's a possibility. Now, this is a quick hit and run, but what I'm noticing is after that comes on through, again, it looks like a pattern. It goes zonal here temporarily. Like I said, it's coming across to me as a weather pattern that is in transition as we go into January. I still think we're probably going to trend back into a colder weather pattern as we go into January, probably by the first week or so. But for right now, we got this big warm period for about 4 days across a big part of the country. And then we do have that cold shot, at least in the east. All right, so now the one negative that continues to be a problem across the south is the drought. California, y'all going to get one, two. You got two big storm systems going to plow through there here going into this upcoming week. So there's the first one, and there's the second one. There's one, there's two. And then once that goes by, that's about it. These storms are tracking northward. You got this one storm system that's bringing the cold air down, but this is not enough rain, folks. We're really starting to see the drought conditions become a problem across a big portion of the east, especially. And if we don't get out of this pattern soon enough, once we get into January, February, where we're supposed to be replenishing area lakes and rivers, we could have some serious drought problems going into the summer. It's reminding me of 2006 a little bit. 2006, if folks remember that year, was a pretty drought-stricken year for a big part of the country that year. So I know here in the southeast especially, it was pretty bad. All right, so here goes the rainfall totals over the next 10 days. Again, the Northeast is favored here with some decent rains there. We've got some very, very heavy rains here across areas of the west from Washington State coming all the way down to Southern California. So California's going to get some pretty good rains here, especially with that big 1-2. What's coming in this weekend is kind of the early preview, but then there's two pretty big storm systems coming in behind that. And as a result, we're going to see, obviously, a lot of heavy snow. That's why you see the green there in the feet of snow, 25 inches, 40 inches. You go up here to 62, it's 27. So again, we're going to continue that. The Great Lakes, seeing a little bit of action here. The cold air is just enough up here across the Canadian border to cause problems up here for New England and stuff. And again, with that one little cold shot coming down here toward the end of that run, maybe a little bit of middle snow flurries here, kind of mixing in with that. Now, this is the big story here I want to kind of show folks. This is Christmas Eve. This is unbelievable. I mean, you got the cold air up here across Minnesota and North Dakota. That's not really that bad. A little bit up here in New England. But look how much of the country is not going to see anything below 32 degrees. I mean, we got a lot of doggone 60s out there and 70s here across the south. We're going to see some records challenge here, record set on Wednesday and probably on Christmas Day itself. Okay, so we got 2 of these to go through. So you see that that's on Wednesday. Here is Christmas Day. Look at it, 75 in Kansas. I mean, this is ridiculous. 60 degrees in Nebraska. I mean, we're in the 40s in the Dakotas, which is unheard of for late December. It should be way down to 20s and 30s at this point. And I mean, only cold air is up across but Christmas Day is very, very warm across the country. But again, this is a short-lived one. If the European model here is correct, we're still warm into Friday. We're still warm here into Saturday. There's Saturday, but we get the first signs of something coming up here is up here to the north. We're starting to see things. But look at these temperatures going into the 27th, 70s in Missouri, 60s well in Indiana, Ohio. These were areas that had snow on the ground, were well below normal for 3 weeks in December. Now they're going to flip it. It's going to be a lot warmer there. And then we're going to see, here comes the front. Here comes the cold front on the 28th, and it just gets progressively colder here in the east. So you see that going into the 30th. That's why and this has been there for the last 3 runs. So I'm seeing some model continuity. That's what you look for when you look for long range. Now, is this locked in stone? No, not yet, because it's beyond 7 day. But again, you're looking for model tendency, some sort of pattern shift there. The NAO's in a negative phase, so I do suspect we're going to get this. I mean, look at this. We got 30s all the way down to the Gulf Coast again, 20s here. It's not overly cold. It's not like a supreme Arctic cold, but more seasonable. Just put it that way here across the east. Okay, so as we look at the climate outlook, this one I'm okay with. This one I'm all right with. This one goes from the 24th to the 28th. Okay, that's fine. Where I suspect it's going to change is this one. If the 12Z run continues to show that cold air coming down, this map here will change going from the 27th to the 2nd because we're showing that cold shot coming on down here. Now, this dry weather pattern here in the southeast for you folks watching down there, I'm sorry. Nothing to change there. We're going to still stay wet out here on the West Coast going into Christmas week there from the 24th to the 28th. And that pattern holds true right to the 1st. So I don't have any disagreement here as far as the precipitation outlook. I do on the temperature, though, if it looks like that's going to continue, that model's continuity is going to be there. I do favor the European over the GFS. GFS just too many gyrations for me to really kind of consider that a reliable model, especially long term. I might use it on the short term, but definitely long term now. This goes through too many extremes. All right, who we got there this morning? Hey, Mick, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it as always. And Julia, good to see you there too. All right, appreciate you guys out there every day. Like I said, I haven't decided yet firmly. There's a thumbnail AI generator program I might fool around with a little bit to kind of see if it helped the channel out. If I go to use that thing, I'm going to have to probably go back to just recording these. I'll just record and put a little intro on it and upload it that way, and then let the program kind of generate the thumbnail to go along with it. We'll see if that helps us out any here. I haven't decided. I might wait until the new year to do it, but just if you don't see me live and you see my update, make sure your notification bell is on there. You might see it as recording out of live. So just throwing that out there. Okay, all right, you guys take it easy. Be good, stay safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on your Monday. And I'm going to be wearing my Christmas hat next week. I'll be wearing that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So I'll be wearing my Christmas